And we're live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first ever Phantom VR podcast. Today, I'm joined by some lovely people. Would you all like to start introducing yourselves? Start off with Dezzy here.
Hey, what's up, guys? I am DezzyFox. I'm the U.S. captain of Phantoms over Snapshot and the Contractor squads. I've been competing in the VRML now about 2 years.
Nuck, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Nucklear. I'm the founder of Phantoms, and I'm hanging out with these guys today to talk about the team.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm Shivasoldier. I've been playing VR for about 3 years. My paintball buddy got me into it, and I played in the VRML for Snapshot, and then joined Phantoms with Dezzy on the Contractors squad, and looking to cause some havoc over there too.
Nice. Of course, most probably know me already. I'm Nuglo, just playing on the Contractors and Snapshot teams for Phantoms, and hanging out, having a good time. Stream every night, obviously. So yeah, I guess we'll just get it started off with the first topic here. Just a little simple little thing. How do we all see the future of VR esports in the next 5 years here?
VR esports is a rapidly growing. It's new, but it's rapidly growing. The amount of sponsors that the league's picking up already, it's nothing but growth. In the next 5 years, I'd say we start seeing way more live events, teams coming together to play on stage, and just like every other esport in the world, I see this going big. VR is the future.
Well, yeah, and just like with every other esport, it all depends on who's playing it. So that depends on where your player base is, and that all comes from how many headsets are out there. And what we've seen is this huge explosive growth, especially in the Quest 2. Valve just released their patents for I think for a standalone headset, and we're going to see more competition in that arena. And I think the Quest 2 has finally overtaken the original Quest and the CV1 as the most used headset on Steam VR. And that's just on Steam VR. That's not even counting the numbers that Facebook has on just standalone play. So when we see more players playing these games, they are going to care about the games, and they're going to watch, or they're going to want to watch the esports, because they want to see, okay, who's the best, who's actually wrecking stuff in EP.1, Contractors, Snapshot. And that's when we're going to see VR esports really start to take off. So yeah, these next 5 years, when we see this growth in hardware and this growth in player base, we're going to see VR esports start to grow along with that.
Right, and I think another thing that's also going to go along with that is we're going to start to see players emerge, is like getting more and more well known individually rather than just as a team too, because you'll have all these people watching, getting super into it, and just naturally they're going to start picking favorite players. That also helps grow the industry, merchandising, things like that. The VR esports, I don't see it stopping.
Yeah, and I think in the next 5 years we will be getting more games and more AAA games that will grow the environment much more than we are now. Because actually we are now playing with indie games, and they don't have the budget to develop esports strategy from the beginning.
Yeah,
well,
earlier.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, because I think right now VR is very indie focused, and I think that's a good thing, because you're going to see these studios grow along with the player base, and VR esports will grow along with these studios. Because I want to throw something out there. Like, even though AAA will start to move into VR, I think they're late to the game. And if Medal of Honor was any kind of indication of what AAA is going to be, I don't think I'm going to like it, because it seems like they see it more as a gimmick, and they're just trying to capture some of that market instead of actually being passionate about the games. So I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see AAA titles move into the VR space, but if they're just gonna lazily throw some developers at it, hoping, let's make a quick buck.
Let's try this new niche, and if it works, it works, and if not, we are leaving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nucklear.
Oh, earlier, Dezzy, you talked about how like individual players are rising up. I've already seen that in Echo Arena mostly. like almost all top teams are recognized by most of the player base because like Echo Arena has already actually gotten pretty big in the VRML, having like I think almost like 600 teams playing in it right now. Is actually the first like major one. I feel like that's going to be the one that gets picked up the most because it's the most simple. It's just disc soccer. It's disc VR soccer. So I feel like that's what people are going to see first and be like, oh, this is cool, and that's what's going to really blow up hard.
So
yeah, it's easy for people to pick up and play, and that's one of the indicators of a good VR esport. That's like look at League of Legends or CS:GO. Anybody anywhere across the world can go into a cyber cafe and start playing League of Legends. And so
that's important in VR because if you want user base, you have to go free first and attract those users and make a league around them because you can monetize them later, but if you have a barrier with the price in the beginning, it's hard to get that user base to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing is that in 2020 we were expecting some bigger events and lands, but COVID came and we are back like 2 years from where we should be.
COVID came, but COVID is also one of the major reasons why we've seen a boost in VR.
It's a very double-edged sword right now.
It is, but it also goes back to what Shiva was saying, where we're seeing more headsets being sold, so we're seeing more people in VR, which a larger VR community means that naturally these competitive spirits, there's tons of people out there who want to join teams. And the VRML is catching way more traction now. Games in the VRML, like Nuglo said, Echo's super popular and everything like that. You got Contractors. Contractors is one of the #1 games on the Quest 2. So many people play that freaking game.
And if you go back to before Quest 2 came out, the lobbies in Onward and EP.1 or every other crossplay game, it exploded since Quest 2 came out. So we just need more headsets and new hardware because Quest 2 is great, but we need competition, and we have to see what HTC comes with and expect that it's good because it's HTC, you know.
Right.
Yeah, with the new involvement of more headsets and everything, there'll definitely be more players coming in. I know all of us mostly here are waiting for the Snapshot Quest release so we can actually get more of a player base. It'd be nice to actually get to play Snapshot in pubs and not have to schedule scrims or do scheduled weekly matches. Like, it'd be nice to actually have lobbies going all the time, or even a quick play.
Yeah, but I kind of like that though, because sometimes like going in and playing in pubs, if you're trying to be a competitive player, it can be counterproductive sometimes because then you get
bad habits.
Exactly. Yeah, like you start thinking you can get away with more than you would against a player that knows what they're doing and actually has lanes and can actually snap shoot. So that's why sometimes it is counterproductive to just go pub stomp, I guess, because I know like we do that in Contractors sometimes, but like that's kind of the only way we can practice. We've had some scrims.
We do it while we like, as long as we're running our drills though, while we're pub stomping, then we're not creating bad habits. Is the main point.
Yeah, like, it happens to me. Yeah, in Onward, I don't play pub lobbies because I get bad habits from playing with noobs, and I only play scrims. even if I'm playing with my teammates, I'm rushing and I'm dying a lot for playing stupid.
Well, not only that, and like I'll be honest, sometimes going into pub lobbies and just completely wiping out the enemy team time after time after time, it's so boring.
Well, we've literally had lobbies just empty instantly after like one round just because they don't want to play against us anymore because we're too...
It's bad for you and it's bad for them because they are not coming back to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're not coming back to our lobbies. They're writing our names down and saying, "No, don't join these lobbies." We gotta get Shiva to stop hosting. Every time Shiva hosts, no one joins anymore. I swear.
Like, oh, it's that.
That's why I stopped hosting.
Yeah. We have to rotate out who hosts till we're all recognized.
I know. I'll switch to my index, and then that way it'll just show like the string of letters and numbers. They won't see my name.
Yeah, the only thing there has been some positive interactions in pubs. Some people definitely were like, "Oh, hey, these guys are awesome. These guys are cool and coordinated." Or like when we're not like a 5-man and the 6th person joins up on our team or something like that, or a 4-man and the 5th person joins up, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so fun to play with you guys!" Like I literally got tweeted. This guy was like, "I played with these guys today, and they were so coordinated. It was awesome." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So there are some positive interactions, but a lot of them are negative.
But that's a good thing for the VRML too, because then as long as we're presenting a good face to this community and these pub games, we can direct these people that are inquisitive and like, okay, so how do I get involved in this? It's like, oh, you go to the VR Master League and you can join or create your own team. So that's another way to grow the game, and you don't do that by being assholes. It's one thing to go in and just pub stomp, but as long as you say good game, we're always friendly with people, even if they're talking crap and not being friendly. Like that's why you have to be friendly. You have to be better than that, because you don't grow the game by being a jerk.
Yeah,
that's why when we go, whenever we're in game and everything together, like I always make sure to say GG.
Yeah.
Like if I shoot somebody,
and even explain other players. And
normally they just baby your age, and I just say, "Bro, it's just a game. It's okay, man." I just remind them it's just a video game. You guys take out the headset, man.
You didn't actually die. It's okay.
You didn't actually die.
It's for real. I love the people that are like, "No, that's impossible."
Oh yeah, the people are like, "How did you shoot me?" They're like jumping around a wall, and you just one tap them. They're like,
"Bullet came out of my gun. It went into your head."
I regularly tell people, man, I've got thousands of hours in VR. Like, don't feel bad. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's what it takes to succeed is just that practice and
training. Yeah.
And that's what I'm liking about taking Snapshot for an example as far as growth in the VR esports industry. Snapshot, since joining the VRML, and I know this as the social media manager because it's my job to know it. Like, the community has seen a slight bump in at least like new people joining the Discord, shit like that. And what I like using Snapshot as an example because it is the newest game in the VRML, and we're seeing even small games like Snapshot now, like catching people's attention. Strive Gaming joining, like even though they're badass at Contractors, and man, Lon, if you're watching, I can't wait to play you in Snapshot.
But, like, it's a different animal.
Teams like Strive Gaming and other gaming organizations, Aimless, back when they were Aimless, I forget what they are now, but like them joining Snapshot and everything. And then you have Blaze, who's another Onward team, like Douse, all those guys.
Didn't Blaze drop out though after preseason?
They did, but what I'm saying is the fact that the game's catching attention from other organizations is growth in itself. Like, is showing growth in the VR esports industry in itself. And then you have games like Contractors that again, this goes back to like when we're in lobbies, and I regularly talk to not noobs, but randoms in lobbies. And like, yeah, man, you should definitely check out VRMasterLeague.com, like all of that. Like and then those people are getting interested in it. Yep. Because I have a guy actually that followed me on Twitter recently that we played day before yesterday, and like, dude messaged me and he was like, "Hey man, what was that website again? I really want to get into this," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like here we go." And we're supposed to play together again.
Yeah, and also competitive gaming provides a healthy environment for the games. So we understand the game. We have a lot of experience in each game, and we can help other people to join or even play and organize games. And so it's healthy for the whole VR environment.
I agree. And as like we are the pro players of VR. Like, as it's kind of our job to garner these people together and like show them the way.
This is the way.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
there's a massive toxic community in VR, and that's what would kill the competitive scene, and it's our job to combat that.
Yeah, and VR gets personal so quick
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
If you are in the same room with a toxic player, it's like I wanna punch you in the face.
Yep. And
I'm
how
glad you can.
I handled that. I handled that by going into a game. I won't talk crap to him, but
Yeah,
man, will I hunt that player down every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But imagine a 12-year-old guy that just came into VR, and the first thing he meets is a 2 meters guy roasting him.
Right.
Yeah. We actually got a quick question in the Twitch chat over here. Virtual Sticks asked, "What is today's podcast about?" I would just say VR,
esports.
VR, and VR. Albie actually answered it for us. He said VR and VRML today.
VR
That's kinda
esports,
VR esports in general.
Just esports.
Yeah.
What's the
and-
next topic? What is our?
Oh yeah,
next
let's
topic?
move on to the next topic. Let's get a quick vote here actually. Do you guys think standalone is the way to go for VRML or wired in?
So for the growth of
Standalone.
VR esports altogether, at the moment, standalone is the way to go.
Yeah.
The
Once
console
we-
model.
Right,
it-
and once we start, at least this is my personal opinion, once we start seeing LAN events and whatnot, that's when we're going to see wired VR be prominent for us. But as long as we're doing home events like this, like I expect these to at that point turn into qualifiers. Like as long as we're doing home events like this, standalone is definitely the way to go. Once we're in person, it's going to be wired.
I feel like that's what people are going to do. They're going to buy a standalone headset and bring it to the competition so they can have practice there, which is actually kind of cool to think about. It could be like
That
in a hotel room practicing with your team right before you head down for an event. Would be kind of funny if y'all had standalone.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
Is this in the context of growing VR esports or what it takes to be competitive? Because I believe
Kind of
wired will
the-
always just have an advantage.
It's kind of the way to go for VR esports. Kind of like
depends what game you're playing though. Professionally,
really
at that
does.
point, Shiva.
I've only ever played wired. I don't own any standalone headsets, unfortunately. I wish I owned one. Wish I could try one. But playing wired, I can see the competitive advantage of Quest players being able to move more freely without a wire hanging down their back. Pulleys are a great way to go. I've had issues with pulleys though. I saw you wave your hand, Nuck. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, because I dropped my CV1 and I'm playing now on Quest, but I don't move my feet. So I just use my stick all the time. So for me, the wire is not a problem.
I
But
move
it's
a
more
lot, but
convenient to
my
it's
index
more
cord is
convenient
constantly
to play
tangled. Like,
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
you've
index
got to
finger
get a
is
pulley
tangled.
system. It
I
saved
have
me,
one.
like-
The pulley system almost tied a noose around my neck once, so I don't trust it anymore. Literally, I don't know how it
You
managed
just got to
to.
tweak it and recalibrate it because
Yeah.
that should not happen. Like,
Well, no,
Right.
I tried playing
Full on
Snapshot
tank.
in one of the Steam Opens with a pulley system, and I just
And
didn't
his
set it up
cord got
correctly.
edgy.
Yeah, my cord got a little.
got the
I had to
pulley tall, or-
constantly take off the headset, move the pulley. Like the cord would move too much. So I might try another pulley system later on, maybe a different one than the one I bought. But currently, as of right now, I'm not big a fan of pulleys. I don't know if I just set it up wrong. I followed the instructions to a T, but pulleys.
Well,
I think you set it up.
You have to find the best way for you though, and like your like play style, like what you're gonna do. So like what I have is I have a pulley right above my head, and that's where I have the most slack, so that I can drop and like move the most without pulling it too much, but it's still got enough tension so that when I stand back up, it's not getting like loose and around my neck, and it just goes right back
Yeah.
into the pulley. You have the rest of them in the line loose because you don't need a lot of tension along the other ones. The most
Right.
important one is the one that's above your head. So
So
if you just set it up correctly, then maybe that would help out a little bit more because
Probably.
you should not have any problems with that. Like I love my pulley system. It totally saved me because like I remember when I was playing like what's that, Blade and Sorcery and like other shooters, like I would have my like the wire would be hanging over my arm and I'd be like, what is this? Why, like this is totally ruining my immersion. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like and I like I almost ripped the cord out of my computer one time. I'm like, no,
Oh,
I'm done.
jeez.
I'm getting fully, and I haven't looked back since. But
So-
again, the Quest 2 without any kind of cable is great. I will say I do prefer to play Contractors with my Quest 2, but that's also because I love the ergonomics of the controller.
Mm.
And because I also just have my stock set up, and I can set it up so that I can pull this super tight into my body, and I can't do that with my index controller right now. I'm still working on a solution, but The Quest and their ergonomics will always be better than everything else out there. I've yet to find another controller that feels as good as in your hand and works the best. So just on that point alone, I'm using the Quest 2. And then being free to just look around, I don't have to use the stick. It definitely helps a lot, but I need to compare the latency of the Quest 2 versus the Index, because I'm playing like my modem is on the second floor, so I'm going through a bunch of stuff that could cause more latency. It's not too bad though. Like,
I'm just getting roasted by stream chat right now. They're all calling me a moron for not being able to set up a pulley right.
So
just a wire, man. Come on.
Are you playing Contractors on Quest wirelessly or native? Oh yeah, I can do that.
We're playing it native. But my whole thing is at the moment in the VREsports industry, it depends what game you're competing in, at what headset you're going to want to use. And for instance, like in Snapshot, I was competing with virtual desktop. Will not be doing that this season. I got a link cable now. Heyo.
Yeah. I can play wirelessly. It's impossible for me.
In Snapshot, it requires you to be wired in to play competitively. That's why, like, I had to start doing the crazy crap up the middle, because that's the only thing I had in my arsenal.
In Onward, you have milliseconds to shoot. So if you are picking a corner and you came across to someone, you have to shoot. So if it's adding 60 milliseconds on top of that, you are there.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it took me to the end of the season to finally figure out a way to combat it. But what I'm saying is, like, Snapshot requires me to be wired in, so have a wired headset for it. But Contractors, playing on the Quest actually has competitive advantages in the game itself.
One thing I'll say, as much as I love Elmo as a caster, for anyone whoever doesn't know Elmo is a Snapshot VR caster. He's an amazing guy, an amazing person. His servers and me do not agree. He's not an amazing
person. Don't you say that. He is not an amazing person.
He's very... me and his servers do not agree, and playing Snapshot competitively makes such a huge difference. The amount of times we'd lose a point because I'm getting shot 8 feet behind me because I have over 100 MS on a server just really hurts. Even though I have good Wi-Fi, fast Wi-Fi, I'm playing wired in even to a PC that's really nice, and there's just nothing I can do about it. It's my only thing, which is why I like the new dedicated servers Snapshot just released. Hopefully those will be more widely adopted for VRML use, because I like the ping on those. They were decent.
I have been playing EP.1 with 100 milliseconds of ping, and you just have to aim for
I couldn't do that. Oh my god.
Side note, I totally turned into a samurai in EP.1. I've got so many katana kills. I actually had one in midair while I was flying the other day. Like, killed dude midair off of a tree.
Nice. We did talk about wireless. We're talking about Quest 2, so let's move into someone was talking about pre-podcast. The Valve's new patents for seemingly some wireless headsets coming out. Those are pretty exciting. That might be what I buy instead of the next Oculus wireless headset. I'm kind of more invested into that a bit.
So,
but I see a problem with that
Oculus headset.
I see a problem with the Index, with the new add-on, if that's the way they are going. But you have to get a headset that costs 1,000, and you have to add on top of that a mini computer. So if we go down to the price, it's
for certain competitive players, that's not gonna matter.
No. I got my these things. These are not the 2.0s. I played on an HTC Vive before anything. That was my first headset, so I already had the Index is directly compatible with the Vive. They made the trackers work the exact same, so I didn't have to pay as much as some people would for a full Index setup. I bought the controllers first and played with the Vive.
The most expensive parts.
Well, no, yeah, I didn't pay for the headset. Okay, I will say switching from an HTC Vive to an Index is the most incredible difference ever. The amount of FOV you get and the amount of resolution, the being able to go up to 144 hertz in a headset is truly insane. Unfortunately, my headset is broken. I can't play 144 hertz without one of the eyes shutting off. I can play 90 just fine, but unfortunately, mine doesn't work.
Actually, we can get a new topic from this because there is such a difference between headsets in VR that it's hard to balance that in competitive games. So
It really is.
yeah, and we are playing crossplay between platforms, and now that PSVR 2 is coming out, probably we are having crossplay between PC, standalone, and PlayStation.
I doubt PlayStation's really gonna do anything with
No,
crossplay.
I think PlayStation will pick up games like Onward, and I could possibly see a Pavlov port going out.
I can't get stop bullying from
Echo.
chat. They're telling me to get an Oculus
Echo,
headset so I can play Echo natively. I currently play Echo using Revive in the VRML on an index, which Echo on an index is a very interesting thing on Revive. There are some issues with it. I get like some networking issues getting kicked out at parties, but I still can play at a semi-competitive level for the team I'm on over there.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it works. But like, I can't even
works.
play on the Revive, like, because I bought Onward a long time ago, initially through the Oculus store, and it is completely broken. It will not let me. Yeah, I can't shoot anybody. when I'm
On
playing
Revive?
Revive. They
Really?
can shoot me, but I can't shoot them. Yeah,
Really, Revive is that broken
mean,
for Onward?
yeah. At least
I
for
play
me, like,
fine on Echo. Like Echo Revive has a few issues, which is why I'm tempted to buy a native Oculus headset because I do play that in the VRML also. But just I like the index. I like where the index is heading with more wireless. I've been wanting a wireless adapter for my index since I got it. I wanted the HTC Vive one, but I got an index before I got the HTC Vive wireless. So it is what it is. But yeah,
with Valve though, because like
for the Vive Pro, sorry, for the Vive Pro, is it any good? The wireless adapter? Because
I never used it. I never got the chance to.
I think it adds latency, like the
anything running
desktop
wireless.
thing.
Yeah, anything running wirelessly is probably going to have a latency issue.
So it's going nowhere in competitive.
Well, actually, no. The HTC Vive wireless was actually quite decent because they did use a PCIe setup for it. I think it was like a network card PCIe that connected up to the headset, and you'd run like the batteries on the back of it. I think it actually worked pretty well. I never heard any reviews about it though. I never really looked at any.
Well, I know Thrill Seeker liked it a lot. Like that was when he had it, like before the Quest 2 came out, and he got his index. Like that's the way he was playing VR, was with the HTC with the wireless adapter. So it worked for most stuff. But I don't think he was playing competitively because
he plays VR chat. So you don't need to care about latency while playing VR chat. So definitely he was
like, hold on, our rhythm's off.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I do think there will still be a place for wireless headset. There's just there has to be, like, there's no getting away from it.
Soon we're gonna see. At least I think at some point we're gonna see wireless start to completely phase out the wired headsets. Yes. So the reason why is because they're already making huge leaps and bounds in latency issues, though. And a lot of these games that are starting to come out are going like full native already. It's just a matter of time because the normal consumer cannot always afford a gaming PC to handle these games.
That's true, but
they don't put a phone processor in a Quest, I'll buy one.
So, but think about this: the people with skills like mine, for instance, because I play Contractors like on native Quest. There's going to be other people like that are still really freaking good and just have a standalone headset. Mm-hmm. So how do you cater to those players?
One thing Albie just brought up, I'm going to interrupt you, Shiva, that we could talk about is actually the battery issue, because Quest being battery powered, you only get about 2 hours of life unless you have a battery pack, as Nuck is showing us here.
I play with mine plugged in.
Though.
I'm not even going to lie. Like, I play with mine plugged in.
So you
I
don't
would
even
plug it in.
use
I've
the
got-
standalone wireless. You play with it plugged in, and you're saying,
No. What
No,
I'm
you-
saying is I plug it into my charger while I'm playing. I have a 16-meter cable.
yeah. What I'm getting at is you're talking about like playing standalone wireless, but you're not even playing standalone
talking-
wireless.
I'm talking about
got the wire.
native standalone. Okay.
Oh,
I'm talking about
Oh,
playing
okay,
native.
okay.
You got to get the battery backpack, like just a line
The
of
20
lipo
lipo
batteries,
backpack.
And
Yeah.
like, well,
like a Tesla battery just on your back.
With
yeah,
this
I know,
power
still need
bank,
to get
I
a
can
battery
play
back.
6 hours. So
Oh,
I need to
really?
get a
I've seen a
battery
guy
back.
get
Yeah,
up
you
to
can play
9 on a really small
Six
battery
hour-
pack.
6 hours plus 2 is enough.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
Not for me, bro.
I'll
I
have to get-
spend 10 hours in VR, bro.
Oh, I
No,
know.
I'm kidding.
Honestly, I'm about to start
All
building
day.
a Franken quest. I'm gonna start building a Franken quest.
Franken
Which
quest.
is-
DAS.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Okay,
is
yeah.
kind of. Because
We
the,
gotta-
the
Yeah.
only, the only original thing is the headset.
Shiva, you're gonna say something earlier, but I completely interrupted you. What were you gonna say back then, if you can remember?
I forgot now. I think it had to do with Quest Native. So, oh yeah, how are we going to cater to those? Does the VRML have to cater to them? Because the VRML is catering to competitive play, and
So here's
competitive
the
play
VR
will
mode.
always try to get that advantage. And to me, latency is probably the most important thing. However, you
So-
do bring up a good point about advantages over certain games. Like Contractors has lower resolution, so you can see things. But how much does that really balance out? Because once you get to a certain point and you've got the best of the best playing against each other, I think those that can lower latency are going to win, because latency has always been a huge deciding
That's what the
factor.
chat just
So-
brought up. The chat just brought up, should VRML have 2 separate leagues, one for wired and one for wireless,
No,
if it gets big
You
enough?
can't yet. You
If it
can't
gets
yet.
big
So
enough. That's why I
here's-
added.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing, and me and Dakin Man have actually talked at length about this, which is the founder of the VRML. As long as a game is crossplay, the VRML will support competitive play from both, because the VRML, our mission is to be completely inclusive.
Right.
Like the VRML wants to also grow VR.
Yeah, it
so-
makes sense. And also, if you're playing, for example, Onward on PC, you have better graphics to watch in the distance.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
so you can get players. I'm messing up. Sorry.
No,
Well,
you're
you-
good.
no, I
you-
understand what you're
It's
saying.
like- I
You
know
can get
exactly what you're saying, because I remember when I played Onward on my CV1 and I could not see across the map. The second I got my index and I realized, oh, I can actually see people all the way across the map. Oh, I can actually shoot them now.
That
Like,
was
I-
me.
I-
That was me. The
I-
same thing with my HTC Vive on Snapshot. I could barely see the other end of the field half the time I was playing. So that's why I was such an aggressive D side player, because I couldn't shoot at them accurately if I wasn't close enough to them. Once I got my index, I can see all the way down there clearly, just because of the new FOV and resolution there. Which is
Right.
And with
incredible.
Quest, you are quicker and you have more contrast, so you see enemies in the distance the same way like in PC, but from different ways. So with contrast and with better visuals in PC.
Mhm.
See,
Although
and
that is a hindrance in Contractors, because on the PC version, the contrast is so high, dark areas are super dark, and it's
Oh my
harder to see
God.
players where you can see them on the quest a lot better. So again, that's just part of that balance, I suppose, and maybe Contractors did that on purpose. I mean, they for sure had to downgrade the graphics to be able to run on the quest too, but I
You
think
know
maybe
what? They
it was
downgraded, downgraded everything. So,
Wow.
so
I hope they
Yeah,
fix that.
When Onward came out on the Quest, its downgrade was so massive that the devs apologized to the entire
Yeah, I
community.
remember that. Yeah.
and I miss one.
Well, it's because they
Yeah,
also
that's better.
downgraded the PC version. It wasn't just
Yeah.
it wasn't just the Quest version versus a PC version. They downgraded the
Oh,
PC
yeah.
version as well, which I was very disappointed when I saw that. I remember not even be able to. I couldn't see the selector switch on my gun anymore. Like it was
Yeah.
always in one position. I was very pissed at that, because I loved Onward's ability to have really not 1-to-1 in real life how guns work, but it was very, very close. The closest next to, I think it was like H3 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like that's like
Mhm.
straight up 1-to-1.
That
Fire
game
Emblem.
is so much fun. I wish there was a way to bring that to multiplayer. I've probably logged like a good 100 hours in just shooting guns in there, and I have some friends that exclusively play H3 because they're addicted to guns, and they love the physics engine in H3 because it's incredible. It's just like
Yeah, see, I've
so
only ever
1-to-1.
played it on a friend's PC. I haven't even bought it
Yeah.
because there's multiplayer. Like, yeah, it's fun to go shoot guns, but I shoot guns in real life also. So, like, if I want to shoot guns in VR, I'm gonna go play Onward or Contractors or Pop One or something like that.
I only play multiplayer games in VR. That's the way VR is for me.
I like a lot of the
Half-Life
single
Alyx
player games.
I didn't
Half-Life
finish
Alyx is really good. That was like I was impressed at what they did with Half-Life Alyx. I was like, oh wow, this is where
That's
I wish more
triple
VR games would go. They did a very well
Right.
job with Half-Life Alyx.
It bored me. Just playing with NPCs is boring for me.
Well, did you ever play any flat games for their story? Like,
I feel
That-
Then you wouldn't get the. Have you ever played a Half-Life game, Nuck?
Yeah, all them.
How did you not find? Okay, well,
No,
we're gonna
I-
hop over to the
I
chat here
played
real quick.
it,
We got
but
some questions from
I
chat.
dropped
You dropped what?
the game.
Oh. Okay.
He stopped playing.
Oh, he stopped playing. Oh, you got it. So here we go. How long do you think it will take for Oculus and some other VR brands to come out? We already covered this a little bit earlier, but more high quality standalone headsets. When do you think we're gonna
So
get
we're
some?
already.
there's already a Quest 2 Pro in the works. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's already. Well,
Sure.
see, we don't know
Yeah.
if it's the Quest 2 Pro or the Quest 3 yet, because like
The fucking
They-
wink.
they-
The wink.
you know, the Zuck.
The Zuck.
Doesn't like to give up too much information, but we're already seeing the Quest. They already said that they're working on another headset. Valve's going to be releasing theirs. They've already got the patents.
Patents are not
Apple's
100% though.
headset.
Patents never mean that's really what they're gonna do. So it can
Valve's
never
gonna-
actually be
Valve's
ready.
going to make another
if they
headset.
go through the process of filing a patent, more than likely they've got something
They're-
in the works.
they're,
'cause patents
so here's the thing though. Standalone. Valve has to create a standalone headset to compete with Oculus now. Oculus has forced the hand of every other HMD developer. They now have to all create a standalone headset, or
Yeah, and Oculus needs to improve the Quest too, so they
Yeah.
keep the monopoly. So
If they can make a better Quest 2 with better graphics and higher battery life, I feel like that's gonna be. I mean, I think the estimated current price of like the Quest Pro, whatever it's gonna be, is about 600, which is double the price of the Quest 2. So I'm not gonna buy into it unless I see remarkable new things, like a much higher resolution, much higher graphical quality, and a much better battery.
yeah,
I'm gonna-
FOV, like Shiva said, is the next step for me, because battery life is not getting higher because it comes to more weight in the headset, and the only way you can get more battery is improving the processor and getting it to consume less energy. But for now, graphics are okay, resolution is okay. I just need more FOV.
Well, I think the big leap will be, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called foveated rendering, where
Yeah.
it only renders what you're looking at. And I believe the next version is going, like they tease something about having eye tracking. And if they have eye tracking, that's when they can have foveated rendering, and that's when you'll see everything, all the performance needed increase because it'll have such low costs to
Yeah,
run
but you have to run foveated rendering in the processor, so you need a better processor to deal with it.
And in order
right
for
now
it to even be a good headset, that foveated rendering needs to be down packed to a T. If like there's any issue with you like looking too quick or looking around, like that'll be like anyone playing competitive will be immediately steered away from the headset. Because if there's any issue with looking around too quick or moving too quick in VR, and issues that can not only cause motion sickness, that could cause like a lot of competitive players to not even look at the headset at all.
Exactly.
very true.
Let's
So
move on
it
to the
might
next
not be
topic.
ready for standalone.
What were you saying, Shiva?
So it might not be ready for standalone then
Yeah.
because I think
Right.
Deca Gear was
I thought
it
Deca
could
Gear
be a
was
while.
supposed to be standalone.
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
I thought
I'm
it was.
pretty
Nah,
sure
they
they
just
were-
cut off the wire when they took pictures of it. Make it make it more appealing.
Yeah.
Next subject from Albie here. what do you think a competitive? When do you think a competitive player will get paid enough to make a living only playing competitive, or do we think that will ever happen? So essentially,
years
the
or more.
regular esports scene. in
10
VR.
years or more.
10 years.
10 years.
I
or more.
agree. 10, maybe
Yeah.
7.
It's
It really.
Maybe five. It's possible.
Look, stuff
5.
moves fast.
So here's the thing that Albie. Hi, Albie. Hi. So this is the thing that Albie needs to understand. Is that we're not going to start seeing that until sponsors start picking up VR teams.
And more live.
That's when
events.
people start watching it.
Yeah.
It all comes down to viewers and marketing because nobody cares about some game that nobody watches. Like if people aren't watching it, then sponsors aren't going to care. Nobody's going to pay to see it. So
Exactly.
it all depends on how many VR headsets get out there, and then how many more games get out there, and how much VR esports is going to grow with that uptick. So
Which,
I
again-
think 5 years is a good
But-
number. 10 years, I think, is way too far out.
I will say sooner if the player is a streamer also. So you can make a living from streaming also while
Right, but what-
playing. And
but
and,
Oh, go ahead.
and getting some sponsor from competitive play.
Right.
Mhm.
See, what Albie's wanting to do though is Albie's talking more about like making a living and just playing competitively, not having to stream or anything like that. Like he's talking about like CS:GO style
yeah.
players making that.
But don't
big
they all stream too?
They all stream too, though. That's the thing. Most of
Not
them
all of
also,
them.
not all of them, but most of them stream, which
But-
is just extra revenue and extra more fun. I mean, I personally find the fun in streaming. I'm not in it for the money yet. But you know, I find the fun out of streaming. I love interacting with chat, and I love being like, "Hey, I'm good at VR. Come watch me play VR games." Except Echo, I suck ass at Echo. Everyone-
But
Streaming for me,
there
I
is
just
a
like to make
niche.
people laugh.
There is a competitive niche closer to VR, which is Sims, driving simulator, and there are teams getting a market there, and they are getting a sponsor without viewership. So
See, one thing we need to do too. One
there
thing,
is a
though,
business
like,
model there.
Sponsors also have to. As long as the VRML keeps signing on new sponsors, which they pretty much do every time a new season starts, somebody else pops in as a sponsor for the VRML. That's when other sponsors are going to take notice, and at some point, one of these sponsors is going to be like, "Dude, we need to just pick up a team."
Yeah, and not
Yeah,
not
And then
only
you'll see
that.
that trend.
From the league, if you are winning, that money is going down to the teams, and if the teams reinvest that money in growing, they can build the organization. That's what we are doing. So,
Right.
so it's
Well, and if I can, here's another counterpoint to why the standalone headsets might not be the way to go, because we might see sponsorships from PC companies, PC parts, Nvidia, Intel, AMD, because
Yeah,
you have to have
sure.
top of the line PC to be able to run these games at the best of your ability. So maybe that's where we will see the first major company sponsors is
Yeah.
Nvidia.
Well,
yeah, but
you got
you can do it.
Hypercloud's already sponsoring the VRML now.
Yeah, but you can do that
They're
the same
big
way,
companies.
because if you are going to LANs, you are gonna play on wired headsets, and
Yeah.
all the player base can be playing in standalone headsets either way.
Right, but your not invitational, but your qualifiers and stuff like that, those are going to be played at home, and a lot of players are going to want to do it wirelessly.
That's the thing though,
Yeah,
because you can't fill a room with wireless headsets. That causes so much lag on the network and everything. I can imagine. I would assume that causes a lot of issues if
But-
you have too many wireless in one area.
But the problem is, if you are playing at home with the Quest 2 and you are going to a LAN for a finals, you don't want to switch headsets.
Oh,
That's the thing. Yeah, you don't want to.
They're not using some
All my
headset there
games,
that they
all my
provide. No.
games, I play PC and Quest because I've thought about that.
Definitely paid for a lot of games twice. Yep.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
were making the
A lot of
event
my
in
library
Barcelona,
is free.
I was playing on CV1, and when we were there, we were playing with the Rift S, and
Ooh.
I felt so weird with the inside-out tracking.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
well,
imagine
well,
that would cause a lot of issue. I feel like as VRML improves, they'd be like, okay, who needs what headset, who's playing on what, and they'd more cater to the players, especially when they're at a higher competitive level, because they need the headset they're used to. When throwing a different headset on randomly, that's going to cause a lot of issues when trying to play it at that high competitive
because
level.
I mean, ergonomics are a very important factor because this is trying to mimic real life, and like I'll like take an analogy to like competitive shooting. Like if you're a competitive shooter, you're not just going to the event and picking up some random AR-15. No, they've got everything custom made exactly how they want it and how they want to pull it up. And that's how every competitive player is going to be. That's how I'm going to be specifically. I'm not going to just pick up some random controller or whatever that someone gives me. No, I've got my own custom crap that I made myself, that I have dialed into how I want to feel and how I want to aim. Because I'm not just running whatever the hell they're going to give me.
What we might end up seeing in that case then is the
even
league
with the stock, I have this set up like this. So if I just move 1 millimeter, the stock, it's totally different.
It's useless. Yeah, like that's why I couldn't use the Pro Tube anymore.
I did it yesterday, and I couldn't shoot anyone.
See, one thing I think we're gonna if that were the case though, that's super easily solvable. Where you just bring your headset and plug it into whatever PC they have set up.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna probably start seeing as live events
Quest
open
2
back up.
users just get a link
but
cable.
the
PC
good thing is that
they can always put whatever player onto whatever PC. But yeah, they're gonna plug their own headset in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happens with mobile eSports and every other eSport. I think everyone brings his keyboard and mouse and his phone or his steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next topic chat's provided here. Do you think Oculus will ever make a standalone headset compatible with base stations to improve Quest tracking?
No. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
One thing that I like about the Quest 2 is its tracking. It's better than the CV1 was when I had my lighthouses set up. It's just I actually prefer the tracking on the Quest 2. Now, obviously, when it's behind my back, like it's not tracking anything. But the Quest 2 tracking is definitely a step up from the Rift S.
And from Quest 2. And for Quest 1. But
yeah, not the CV one though, because I had 3 sensors and that tracking was perfect.
I didn't have a 3 sensor setup though. I only used 2.
I plan to get the
sure,
PlayStation
fine.
2.0s and actually have a 360 set up with my old base stations.
they just need to fix the controller here for shooters.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they need to fix. Because in a shooter, you are not playing like this.
Sometimes you have to grab your gun off your back, and like I can't use the light vest in Contractors because I can't grab the gun off my back if I'm trying to use it on
really, you can't? I've never had a problem with it.
Nope.
With the tablet in Onward, I can do it flawlessly.
Yeah, with my Quest 2, I have no problem grabbing the gun off my back.
Okay, I might have to try it again, but like it would not work for me, and like because I really wanted to run the light vest with the honey badger, and like I can't get the gun off my back, so this is useless. But maybe something's fixed, or maybe I had just some reflections from my TV or something, and it was messing with it. But it wouldn't work for me.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, Lapin in the chat says it's not better than CV1, the tracking, but
I think it is.
It's not, but I was playing with CV1 with 2 sensors, and it's better than that. But yeah, with
my
three,
sensors
gotta have 3, man. Like,
with 3 sensors, it's better in the CV1, of course. But because you can get the controller under your chin and you can shoot, you can move it. It's not moving at all.
I've lost tracking a little bit on my index controllers, but it's mostly when I did reach like right on top of my head one time, but I was like, that's like when I'm pulling a knife out of my head or something like that, because that's if someone threw a knife into my head on Contractors.
Yeah,
I do.
Index
like throwing
rarely uses tracking unless obviously if you hit something, you're gonna lose tracking 90% of the time. But but getting a 360 setup with the 2.0 sensors is kind of interested to see what will happen there with my tracking.
We have one more topic in the chat.
We have a few more actually, but which one do you want to move to, Nuck?
Do you guys feel like VR is advertised enough?
No.
Not at all.
No,
Though I did
There's
see a
no
shameless
TV
plug
ads
in
for
that-
VR yet.
In that
no.
show,
There's
in that
Oculus,
show
there's
Super-
Quest 2. That's about it.
But
Yeah.
in that
there
show
was a big
Superstore,
difference.
There was a huge shameless plug in that show Superstore where like they mentioned the Oculus Quest like 8 times in this episode, pulled it out talking about how the box felt like velvet and that they should rub it. And then like at the end of the episode, it's these 2 dudes playing Arizona Sunshine. Like, and they didn't say it was Arizona Sunshine, but you could tell because one dude was like, "Man, you almost blew yourself up, but you killed all those zombies." And like, it's just, it's there's not enough, but you're starting to see more.
Everyone is
Yeah.
complaining about the Oculus ads with the real life action,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's so hard to make people understand what VR is. That's the only way you can show it. That or making events where people can try.
The
But-
old HTC Vive Steam, like if you go to the HTC Vive Steam page in their video, they just did a green screen overlay of someone playing in the VR, and I felt like that showed off VR really well because it was just showing like this is what the game looks like, this is them in it, but they're wearing a headset using controllers. I thought that worked.
Well, I mean, like, if we're being real, the best advertisement at the moment that VR is getting is the content creators and live streamers. They're like the only ones that are really getting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Like-
think Oculus PR is so bad that they need to work on that a lot.
Is it though?
Higher,
Their sales would say differently because it's Quest 2.
yeah, but I feel like they could be doing.
Yeah,
better.
but
They could-
with
as far
Quest
as
2, I live
advertising goes.
I live in a small town, and we had booths at the retailers with the Quest 2, and they were everywhere. So I think for Quest 2 that was different, but before it was so poor.
Oh yeah.
They definitely did
Yeah.
bump it up with the Quest 2, but I still like. There's not nearly as many advertisements or marketing as there was for it when it first dropped. And I think they need to still keep pushing it because to me, the Quest 2 has kind of entered the console war here. Like the PlayStation and Xbox, they were sold out everywhere, so people started picking up Quests.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, awesome!" And then they tell their friends, and then that friend tells their friend,
And it's
then all of a
cheaper
sudden
than
I'm
a
playing
PS5.
And then all of a sudden, I'm playing Population 1 with Walt Aiken from the Miami Dolphins the other day. No joke.
Oh wow.
He started following me on Twitter and Instagram.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Eat that, Dezzy.
Like, he's like, "Dude, we need to play more." And I was like, "Yeah, we do." Like,
Most promising VR game you have played.
what's what?
Most promising VR game you have played.
Most promising.
Yeah.
Like competitive multiplayer or single player?
That's a question in the chat.
What's the most promising game? Contractors.
I would say Population 1.
Pop 1 definitely.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Top 1 in
Contractors.
terms of development and community, I think it's the top notch right now.
So I'm saying Contractors only because the game has been out for years now. And it went dead for a while there, and then they released it on the Quest, and it came back. And this is the closest thing you can get to Call of Duty in VR right now. And I hate saying that, but Call of Duty is also like the most popular shooter in the world on consoles. And a lot of these guys are coming over from console, and so they see Contractors, and they're just drawn to it. I meet people all the time in Contractors that are like, "Yeah, I just bought this game today." And it's like, "Oh, sweet, man. I've been here since the start. Welcome to the roller coaster."
Yeah.
no,
Contractors,
sure,
they,
The nicest
they
people and the most toxic people.
Contractors play
Well,
as well,
I-
and it's go Shiva, go.
I only-
Well, it's how you get
I-
players because you have to advertise it. It's the Call of Duty of VR, and
I
because
only played.
to piggyback off of what Nucklear was saying earlier is VR is something that you can try to advertise it. You can try to explain what it is, but the only way to really get the point across is to have someone try it. That's the only medium out there like that because you have to feel it to understand it. You can try to represent it in a flat 2D way, but it's just not the same.
And you need time to understand it, because the first thing you play with the headset is like Beat Saber or some teleport experience. So the next step is to play a shooter or a full game, and that's not something you get in a retailer or from an ad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Contractors has a lot of promising. I think Contractors does have a lot of promise developing more. I feel like there are a few things they need to just buff out though. Dark corners are way too hardcore on PC. There's some graphical issues. They changed a lot of the graphics up with this new map update they just released. I feel like the game looks slightly different, and I feel like if they just improve that, the FPS quality and just overall and the audio, they fixed the audio bugs. And
they did?
If they fix the audio bugs.
Okay.
Because right now in the VRML, if anyone doesn't know, you're allowed to use Discord for Contractors because the voice chat does just crap out sometimes and you can't even use it anymore. So I feel like if they really just buffed it out, just fixed everything up and just really sat down and the devs actually updated it instead of taking 8 months to do whatever the hell they were doing, then it would definitely be a better game and be way more. I feel like a lot more people would play it competitively.
Yeah, and I like the suggestions of Contractors and Pop.1. Pop.1 was a lot of fun, but I'm also just biased. I got to throw Snapshot out there, but it's because I was a competitive paintball player, and when I remember alpha testing this thing over a year ago, and when I stepped onto that virtual paintball field and I could snap shoot with somebody from behind a bunker, especially like from having withdrawal because I couldn't play because of the pandemic, it felt like I was back on that paintball field, and that's just something that VR does. Like it creates experiences.
Yeah, when I try to explain Onward to someone outside VR, I say like, this is airsoft and you can play it from home. So there is always a correlation from a real activity to a game in VR.
Quick little subject I think would be fun to do as Dezzy's gone here. What was everyone's first experience of VR?
Google
so
Cardboard.
My buddy had a CV1. He got it for Christmas back in like 2017, and he's like, "Dude, you got to come over and try this." And it was Arizona Sunshine was the first game I played, and I was immediately hooked. I picked up that Glock in like one of the first missions or something and just started shooting zombies, and I'm like, oh, I have to get one now, and I went and bought one like the next day.
Nice.
For me it was my first time in VR was actually a month before I got picked up by my first competitive team, and it was Pavlov. That was my first experience. You want to talk toxic community? Oof.
Yeah, it's like Counter-Strike in VR. For me, it was Google Cardboard playing War Thunder through Trinos VR, streaming from my PC.
Yeah, mine was just with the CV1.
Mine was my friend just got an HTC Vive and he wanted to set it up, and I went over to his house to help him set up everything. My first experience was just the Steam VR home. We didn't have any games downloaded or anything, but I would sat there in that home and I was just so amazed because I'd never been in VR at that point. I was just like, wow. Like I was just touching everything, moving everything, drawing everything. I just drew.
And then the motion sickness.
Yeah, I had no motion sickness. I am not one to get motion sickness, surprisingly. But as soon as I took the headset off, I was like, oh wow, that is just such a contrast. Like I was just in this VR world, and I was just in love.
The real world's not good enough anymore.
Well, so like, what do y'all do if you bring someone over? What's the first thing you show them? Because what I like to do is I will pull up Google Earth, and I'll be like, check this out. And
Five Nights at Freddy's VR. That's the first thing everyone gets to play on my headset. If they can play that, they make it through that, they can play everything else. Or unless they have to sit on the couch and try again.
Yeah, trial by fire. Yeah, go ahead. Or trial by Freddy.
For me, it depends on who is coming over. Like, for instance, when it was my girlfriend and I was showing it to her, I went to a beach in VR chat and let her check that out. Like, however, when it was like my brother's girlfriend's little brother, like I was like, dude, you want to see Pop.1? Like,
yeah.
So I mean, like, it all depends on. Yeah.
For me, normally it's Beat Saber.
And I also give him
teleport.
I try to
Because
give them something that won't make them motion sick and won't overwhelm them. Because I feel like if you put someone that can easily get overwhelmed into like any VR game that just has like more than a few functions, like Beat Saber is such a simple. You just click a song, click play, you just hit the notes.
And everyone understands it.
It's the easiest thing to pick up for VR.
So you can figure out how VR works, the controllers and so on, and later jump to another experience where you can teleport and so on.
Usually,
my
Super
parents
Hot.
can play Beat Saber. Like they can even play Beat
Super
Saber.
Hot's another good one.
But it depends, because if a friend comes, I can troll him, so I can make him play some horror game or Onward.
Right. I just picked up Walking Dead Saints and Sinners for the Quest 2. They did really well with that port. Just random. But yeah, incredible
I've
job
heard
with that port.
mixed
I played
things.
it on the PC.
Some people told me they were like, I hate it, it's awful, it's not good at all. Then other people told me like, oh my god, you need to play it, it's so fun. So I haven't picked it up yet.
So the second Walking Dead game that came out is probably Onslaught is probably the one you hear a lot of talking crap about. That game sucked. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners though, that's the only single player game I'll touch in VR. They did extremely well with it on the PC, and then I had to try the Quest 2 version, and they nailed it out of the park. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, I only played it on the PC, and like I already beat it, and I feel like I've got the whole experience. So I don't know if I would buy it again on the Quest 2 for a single player like game. I've already done it. So
see, I've only played the first couple of maps on the PC, and then like the seasons kicked off and everything, so I didn't have time. But like I went ahead and bought it for the Quest 2 because I don't want to mess with my PC. It's annoying at this point. I only use it for Snapshot. So
like, all right, flip it on. Shoot.
So, do we have another topic?
I think we ran out of. Oh, here now we got another topic real quick. What games do you think needs more development or bug moderation? I already kind of covered mine with Contractors. Contractors needed some.
I mean, I think at this point right now, where VR is technically kind of still in its infancy, at least as far as consumer VR goes, every game in VR, like if you're coming into VR and you're going to play a game, you can't expect it to be perfect. Every game is a work in progress, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that these developers can't afford to not release their game. And the constant people buying it and the constant support is how they're developing it now.
You can tell from the chat and our answers that the game everyone plays is the game that needs some fixes. So that means every single game.
Yeah,
exactly.
When you play it long enough, you'll find all the bugs, and when you play it so long at a competitive level, you really notice the issues with the game more than someone that just picked up the game. So
here's my thing. People buy a brand new Call of Duty every time it comes out, right? And all I hear when those games come out is just bug after bug after bug after bug after bug. If you come from console or even just PC gaming, any kind of gaming, and you think that VR is going to be perfect, you need to look back at what you were already playing on and realize that that's still not perfect. So there's no way this new tech is going to be anywhere near perfect.
That is more than fair. That is definitely more than fair.
Yeah, and even every dev is trying to figure out how VR works and experimenting with some things. If you jump from shooter to shooter, even the reloading and the shooting is different.
I know, it's so annoying. I can't wait for some kind of standardized rifle setup for each game. Like, okay, here's a SDK or an API that you can use. Here's how the rifles work. Just use it. It works. Just do it.
I'm waiting for Escape from Tarkov VR. I play so much.
Everyone
Tarkov.
is waiting for that game.
That Escape from Tarkov, bringing that to be VR would be the most difficult game, but I feel like it would be the most insanely fun game ever. I would play the living hell out of that.
If they do that, they better bring DayZ to VR too. Okay?
Oh, that would be amazing too. I feel like that's where they really need to start going with Pop 1 and really actually being able to pick up items, have a storage system while playing an FPS game. I feel like they definitely have the ability to make a actual hardcore shooter with loot and with that Like, I feel like they really could make the jump there. We're just kind of needing some dev company to really take it over.
You need weighted. They need to focus on weighted physics too, though.
What?
Take the Boneworks devs. Use the Boneworks devs. They did amazing work with weighted physics.
I think there was way too much emphasis on the physics in Boneworks, like almost to the point where it got in the way sometimes. I love what they did, but at a certain point, I just need stuff to work, and that's why I really like what Pop.1 did with their climbing physics. It just works. I don't have to worry about my weight or shifting anything. I just grab something and I go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what works with Pop.1 because it's like a fast-paced battle royale. Also, Albie, you are a bitch for being scared of Tarkov. But
Pop.1 is a fast-paced game, and Bomb Wars is just like a playground, like Gmod. So it's different game. But I want to ask, what's the best weapon handling in a game you tested in VR?
I'd say Contractors is pretty good.
Onward or Contractors, yeah.
Onward or Contractors really, they're the ones really getting it down pat with the gunplay.
Yeah.
You can't really say like Pop.1 because Pop.1 it's a battle round.
Yeah,
that's a
Contractors.
There's no real weapon handling in it either. I mean, the way the reloads work, it's just all like cookie cutter, and it's.
But imagine if you were playing Pop.1 with the handling of Onward, you will be dropping maggots every day, and it will be a mess because you have to crouch to get the new mag, put it on, and even if you are flying, you can drop a mag, and that will be a mess.
Yeah, but that's part of the game. Like, I fully expect there to be some kind of like PUBG variant.
It's part of the game, but it wouldn't be funny anymore if you
the PUBG style battle royale's already been done in VR and it did not work out well.
It didn't?
Yeah, they did.
Stand out on Battleground.
I bought it and I refunded it so quickly. It was in VR. It was so bad. They were like, ooh, let's make something PUBG, and I think they took maybe 4 months to pump out something. It was fun for what it was, but it didn't have anything of Pop.1 had with the ease of use, player base. Pop.1 did a way better job at making a VR battle royale than really any other VR battle royale.
But is that because it can be played
you
on
can tell by the numbers?
It was their beta that really did it for Pop.1. Their beta test, because there were tons of us that were beta testing Pop.1. And then it became word of mouth, dude, I can't talk to you too much because of NDA, but I can tell you that Pop.1 is going to be the fucking game you want to play when it releases. And then they did the big beta day, which they sent out 1,000 more keys for one day for everybody to come on and play. And then they gave away 100 copies of the game during that. Big Box did their everything the right way.
The only thing I felt is I heard of Pop.1 so much later than everyone else. I don't know how I didn't hear about it or find out about it. I don't know how really a lot of people how did you guys
what
find
rock
out?
are you living on?
I don't know. The only way I heard of Pop.1 is people ask me on my streams. They're like, "Oh, have you played Pop.1 yet?" And I was like, "I have no clue what that
really
is." That was the only way I found out about Pop.1. I saw it maybe one time in the Steam store, but I didn't even look at it because it just looked like some weird battle royale that PC bad.
I was waiting for Pop.1 for a year, and
oh wow!
I came after the 1.0 update. I bought it after the 1.0 because I didn't know it existed till then.
I got it a week after release because I just bought my Quest 2 because my CV1 crapped out. I was waiting on my index, and I'm like, well, I need something to play, so I just bought a Quest 2, and I was like, oh, what's this Pop.1 game? And okay, that looks cool.
It is dope though. Pop.1's a big reason too why the Quest 2's seen a boost in sales because advertising the game is essentially Fortnite in VR is correct. And people gravitate to that. Plus the ease of use. I forget who had said it, but somebody had said how easy it was to use, and it's true because the controller layout is pretty much just like a console. Everything's so simplistic. I can't wait till the League comes out for it.
If people start out with Vive ones, those things are interesting to use. I couldn't imagine playing any modern games with a Vive one just because of how many more inputs you need.
Yeah, the Vive one is just it has to go away. Developers can't make games based on the Vive one anymore, just because
Yeah.
everybody's going to have the same input now, because the index went the same way, WMR went the same way. You're going to have 2 buttons, a joystick, maybe a trackpad.
Exactly. That's just like console. It's kind of
Yeah,
evolving
that's
to
it.
be a controller's
Be a-
standard.
PSVR 2 is coming with the same layout, so that's the way to go.
I agree.
Yeah, why fix something that ain't broken?
Yep.
Should we hop over to some of our pre-written topics? I think we have one more from chat actually. Do you think normal PC devs like from COD and Halo will start developing VR games?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know how
already-
good they're going to be though.
Yeah, that's the thing, is how good are they going to be? We've already seen Medal of Honor, like we talked about earlier, coming out and everything, and that kind of flopped.
Yeah.
You got games.
So bad.
You got Ubisoft starting to jump into the VR game. They've already announced that they're coming out with an Assassin's Creed and a Splinter Cell VR.
I
Well,
didn't
can't
know
wait for
about
that.
that. When did that come out?
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that. Jesus.
They have that Mercs versus Spy game. Oh my god, that's all I'm gonna play. I
If
played
they
it.
if they
I
do a
thought
good
that
Assassin's
Ubisoft
Creed
has-
VR, I will live
And
stream
then-
that 24/7 for like 4 days
And then
straight.
it's already been leaked officially that Capcom is developing Resident Evil 4 VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't have much faith in Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed actually, because how are they going to do that?
Well, have you played Aspire?
Espire
Espire?
flopped though. Espire was not
Really?
that good. It has like negative Steam reviews at this point.
I'm not a single player guy.
Oh.
I was
Yeah,
hyped
right,
for
well, that's where it
Espire,
comes in.
and then I heard it was not as
But-
good as people thought it was going to be.
Splinter Cell and Hitman. Well, we have to talk about that Hitman game.
Hitman
but-
3. Ooh,
Th-
so good.
those are my favorite games in flat gaming. That kind of
Right.
games.
Mhm.
But in VR, they don't translate that well. So
Because of the third person camera
Right,
view?
but see, my whole thing.
no,
is-
even if in first person, yeah, Splinter Cell, yes, but Assassin's Creed, you have to fly and drop from heads. I don't see
you on
it
top
as-
one, right?
Yeah, but it's different because you have to be precise. And no, I don't know. I
You're good.
So
I
my
feel
whole-
like
my
Assassin's
whole-
Creed VR could be really
My whole
fucking
thing
good.
with
my,
this, yeah,
my
I think-
problem with that
I think that they
is
can-
my
I think that
problem
they
with that
can
is
execute that.
animations.
I think that it's possible. Ubisoft is a great developer. Like their games, I mean, they've created some of the most incredible titles. And the Assassin's Creed series being one of them, I can really see that being in VR, especially since it's not that they're porting it, it's that they're building it, the entire experience
Yeah.
from the ground up for VR.
See, they need to go talk to the Blade and Sorcery devs and get some of them on that, because Blade and Sorcery, like, for a good sword game, you need to have good hit detection. If I swing and I make good contact with someone and I do jack shit to them, I'm be like, this sucks, because like no good connection. Blade and Sorcery V1, I played the heck out of it. There were
Yeah.
times I really wish I could stab someone, but like
I have a
it would just
scar.
phase through them. Like,
You know what's incredible? You know what's incredible about Blade and Sorcery though? It's only one guy that developed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
really? No way.
Yeah, it's a single man team. That
Yeah,
is
he's
a
crazy.
single man game.
Holy crap.
it's
that is
so
amazing.
good. Like, imagine
Yeah,
they
it's
just
not a
hire him
dev
at
team, it's
Ubisoft
just one
to
dev.
make Assassin's Creed VR. It would be an incredible experience. That would be like
There
the
you go.
most.
We will give you the
There's a
team, we will
guy-
give you the resources, just go. Just
Yeah,
please do that.
Exactly. Please.
There is a
I
guy
would-
on YouTube. There is a guy on YouTube. The name is Sonny, and he was working with Ubisoft in. I'm not sure if it was in this game, but he told in Twitter that he was working with Ubisoft and he was making some game like Blade and Sorcery. He has some demos in YouTube.
See, that's
okay.
what I'm saying is like, yeah, we are gonna start seeing a lot more. Just to get back to the topic real quick, we are going to start seeing a lot more mainstream games and developers coming over. Now, it's all dependent on those developers themselves, how much time and love they put into these games, because VR does take a lot of time to develop. Not nearly as much as games like Grand Theft Auto and shit like that, but you're still looking at 2 to 3 year turnover time on a game. And it's going to come down to how passionate the development teams are about the games, and how well they can execute them.
A smart AAA company will just hire some indie devs.
Right.
Like,
well,
I'm pretty sure Facebook they just bought Red Horizon or whoever made Echo Arena.
Yeah.
Right. They just bought them outright, which was incredibly smart on their part. Just have them do it, and then give them the resources to make some AAA games.
See, and that's the other part to it too, is if these AAA games that are coming out, Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell, we just keep those as examples for now. Like, if these games aren't executed well, then we're going to see less AAA games trying to come over.
Yeah, if I were them, I would go with new IPs for VR and just experiment and try new things. Even if they don't have the same traction than more established IPs, they have more shots after that. If you fail with Assassin's Creed, you're screwed.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that is a fine line that they have to walk, because the way you grow that, like we said earlier, like with Contractors, it's the COD of VR. Like, that's how you're going to draw more people in, is, oh, we've got Assassin's Creed in VR. And I'm afraid you're right. If it doesn't work, I don't think it'll tank VR in general.
No,
because there's still great
titles coming over.
Yeah,
it'll scare away other. What's going to happen is these other AAA companies are going to wait for games to be released by other AAA companies. It started with Half-Life Alyx. When Half-Life.
But what I don't understand, and how Medal of Honor failed, when you have so many good games made by indie games where you can copy.
Because they didn't want to take the time that these indie developers, they're developing with passion. These AAA companies, these developers are developing for money. And there's a difference in the quality of work that'll be produced when a developer is developing for a paycheck or when he's developing for something he loves.
Speaking of money, do we think AAA VR titles are going to be the standard 60, or do you think they're going to bring it down because of VR?
Medal of Honor was.
I think it'll stay 40.
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I feel like keeping it at 60, there's going to be like, I can play something way different for way cheaper and have a way better experience. If it flops and it's 60, like Medal of Honor was, people are going to be like, all right, I don't trust AAA, I'm not buying AAA, and then AAA just might back out completely, which would really suck.
Well, see, and that's the thing that I'm saying, is all these AAA companies are going to wait for because when Half-Life Alyx came out, all these AAA companies then became like into VR. They were like, oh, sweet, yeah, it worked for Half-Life, so we can do it too. And then that's shortly after when Ubisoft was like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and release, an Assassin's Creed and a Splinter Cell for VR. And so all these other companies are going to watch it and they're going to wait. And they're going to see if it works. And if it works, then we're going to see a huge surge of AAA titles coming through to VR. If it doesn't work, we're going to see these indie developers actually getting a lot bigger than what they are.
Well, they'll just become the AAA developers then, which I would rather see.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually recently started up a small group to start making VR games.
The only reason why these developers on console and PC are considered AAA is because they've been in the industry for years and proven track record or whatever. But there's technically no AAA. Even if a developer who is AAA comes over into VR development, they're no longer a AAA developer. They may as well as just be an indie game developer, and we saw that with Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if they have the money, because the sounds they design and everything, that's a lot of money. They need the experience from indie devs right now. So that's what you said.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but because the hardware is growing, we will see the developers grow with it because more people will be buying their games. Like just with the Quest 2 right now, there was some statistic, 90% of the developer sales are on the Quest 2. That's just how it is right now.
And you can get the numbers and see that every game that was released on Quest, most of the games surpassed the 2 million barrier.
Yep.
Or 10 million with Beat Saber, and I think Onward.
Wasn't Onward 20 million?
20? Yeah, probably.
I thought so.
Okay, Albie's
So-
been sitting on his. I'm gonna entertain Albie for a second. He's been sitting on the edge of his chair, spamming chat. I see it every few minutes. His main question was to ask Shiva why he can't hit his shots already. Why he can't hit his shots. That's all I want to say. I'm just entertaining Albie, so I'll stop putting it in chat.
Hit my shots. I'm pretty sure this proves I can hit shots. What are you talking about?
Albie, from the
Ooh.
message you sent me earlier in my DMs, the only person who ain't hitting shots is you when you struck out with that girl at the dentist's office.
Oh.
That's what you get for
Oh,
it.
Oh, Albie. Done it now.
All right, I feel like I really want to talk about this. VRML level. How much skill does it really take to win and be really good in the VRML? Like, what do you all think the level of competitiveness you need to be good in the VRML?
So it's
Everyday
there's-
training.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into that. It's not just the training. So VR esports is physical. It's a physical sport essentially. It's not just a certain level of training in the game that you need. You also need to be kind of not physically fit, but at least able to move freely. Like I go to the gym. Like,
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Like I was gonna liken it to, because I've won competitive paintball tournaments too, and what we do is you have to be in good shape, because when you get down to the finals, you're going to outcondition the other team. You have to have that muscle memory locked in from drilling and practicing constantly. I remember when I was on that pro field, I would slide in my bunker, snap up, be ready to shoot, and I would do that every single round, and I was just a robot. And that's what you have to drill that in VR as well, because it is muscle memory. So if you're a fatty or you're a slouch and you have no muscles, you can't train your muscle memory. So
exactly.
of course, physical shape have to be in it, but it's also your mind too. You have to train your mind as well. You have to know the game inside and out. You have to have plans, strategies. You need to have teamwork and jobs that everybody follows, because I need to know that my team is doing what I know they're going to be doing. If they're not, how are we going to win? If they're not where I expect them to be, how do I know that they're doing their job and they're going to cover me, or how am I going to do my job and cover them? So it's two sides.
I feel like too the pressure in VR esports is a bit different than regular esports too, where like you're in it, you're like physically in it. So
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys, but like when I come down to a clutch situation or something like that, my heart pounds way harder than it did on console.
Oh yeah.
And the shake.
Yeah, the shake,
But-
you get the shake going on, you're like,
Well, and that's another thing too of being in good shape, is that when you train your body to be like, if you do cardio and you lift weights,
Mhm.
you have that heart rate bumping, so you're used to it. You put yourself in that situation every day, so that when you're in that tense situation in the game, you're used to it. You're more in control because you
Right.
do that. You force yourself to do that every day.
Mhm.
Right.
I remember a situation when we were playing the Challenger Cup in Onward. One of our teammates, he was trying to send the code, and he was so nervous. He was shaking, and he couldn't send the code. And it was live streamed.
Yeah.
I think it's in the clip is in our Instagram account.
Yeah.
And he was shaking like crazy, and that's something you only see in VR.
Yeah.
The Challenger Cup.
You got to
when
train
we-
that out.
When we competed in the Snapshot Challenger Cup, and we beat Merc 88s, that last map, I was shaking the entire time.
My heart was
it-
racing because we brought it down to the literal final round.
And last man,
And
1v1.
Oh,
I
man.
watch it all the time now. So
Yeah.
my whole thing about it is like the pressure is different. So you have to be able to deal with it. And then, man, you need to train, like Shiva was saying, you have to train not only yourself physically, but your mind as well. Like, especially from a captain standpoint, and having to make a play call at like a snap decision, like making a play call last second, which we did plenty of in the Challenger Cup. Like my nerves were completely shot, but I still was responsible for making sound calls for the rest of the team. So definitely training your mind and being able to deal with that amount of pressure. There's a whole lot. Dedication is really just the number one thing that sums it
Yeah,
all up.
and if you are the captain dealing with the tilt after you lose a game, it's so important. Because if you're the captain, you're gonna spread the tilt to all your teammates.
Yeah,
That's a big problem with my Echo team right now. We're on like an 8-9 game losing streak, which I was semi used to from playing Snapshot first preseason. We did win our games, but not as often as I would hope. So I see the tilt, and not being on joining up to the Phantoms, it was a lot more of like, oh, it's like, I understand we're playing for a team, this is very important, but I never felt like insane amounts of pressure, like, or anything. I never was a very nervous person in VR. I do have like sometimes some nervousness, but like playing on a different team that isn't responsible for an organization, is just a player built team, they are so much more just nervous and hard on themselves and scolding.
See, and that's where it comes down to what kind of leadership you have too on the whatever VR esports team you end up getting picked up by. You could have captains like me that, like, even though we just lost last match, like, I'm gonna come into the next practice and be like, dude, we're gonna kick their ass. For this next game, it's our game. It didn't matter. Like, and Nuglo can attest to that. Like, every game we lost in Snapshot, I was like, no, guys, don't even worry. We're going to come back next game. We're going to whoop their ass. Like, we're not out of this. Like,
that's why Dezzy's an awesome captain, in my opinion.
I told them, too. I was like, it doesn't matter, man. We're going to at least compete in the championship. And I was saying that midway through the season. I was like, we're going to make it to at least the championship. Doesn't matter. Does not matter that we're no longer third place. We're going to do it. And we did it. Like,
yeah.
There you go. It also matters to have a plan too. I think that's one of the most important things. Like for Snapshot, I drew up plans every week for every map, and
Albie shared.
We would. Oh, did he?
Yeah. Give a little secret spy.
That's how much it takes to be on top of the VRML.
Well,
you have to work on that every day.
Mm-hmm. You got to know the game.
If you want to have any human relationships, doing this might not be what you want to do.
No, you still can. It's not that much time, okay?
No, I'm joking. I haven't seen another human being except for on this video chat.
I know that's not true, Dezzy.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, that's a lie.
My girlfriend's down the hall right now.
Well, let's go for the final topic.
Oh yeah, we have been for an hour and 30. We've been already going. So what should our final topic be for the day? We got.
What was the most exciting moment in VR, or was that?
What was your craziest experience competing in VR?
Man,
I can already think of mine. Dezzy already brought it up earlier.
Do I have one for you guys? You can hop over to my mediocre at best Twitch channel. Like, I actually have the clip of this. It was, I was playing Pavlov, and I was on this team Undead Army, and we were playing against Valkyrie. They were our sister team, and like, they were a gold level team. We were a silver, so like, we were already out of our league. Like, so we ended up playing against them, and my job was to come up to this wall, which on the other side directly was where the enemy team was coming in to try and insert onto the site. So my entire job was throw some flash grenades, figure out where they're at, and then go in, do my thing, take them out. Well, I threw a flash grenade. I threw another flash grenade. I had a third one, and I went to reach for it, but wasn't looking down, and grabbed the gun off my back accidentally and threw that over the wall. So then I pull a knife off my side because I forgot to add a sidearm to my arsenal, you know. And so I pull a knife off my side, run around the corner, and there's this enemy player facing me as soon as I come around the corner. And I threw my knife just as he shot his gun. He got a headshot on me, killed me, and my knife slapped him in the face and killed him.
Oh my goodness.
As expected.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You even hear me in the clip when I throw my gun over the wall. I'm like, oh shit, what?
My crazy experience was what I said before. The guy trying to send the code in in the Challenger Cup because it made me realize that this is so different than flat games. It's physical, so it will keep in my head forever.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I guess I don't know the craziest. I can't really think of any specific incident like that, but I guess just not losing a match in the Snapshot VRML preseason.
And how about just winning the championship?
Yeah.
Do that. Like,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Right,
You
right?
only won the inaugural preseason championship. Not a big deal. Whatever.
I worked hard for that. Okay.
Mine would definitely have to be.
I don't think at this point you actually work hard in Snapshot. I think at this point it's just natural for you.
Well, I've been playing competitive paintball for 10 years, so I mean, and like when I had another teammate that had also played paintball at that level, I knew he was like just me and Elmo. Like it doesn't matter if we lost Albie or Bushido. Like I knew if he was doing his job, I'd be okay. And that's the kind of teamwork that you have to have. Like I know he's going to do his job, so I can go do mine, and we'll cover each other and protect each other. And especially with paintball, it's a different style of gunfighting. And we've been doing that for so long. When it was ported to VR, it was like we had that advantage over people that may have only played VR and not played competitive paintball. So to be honest, I didn't really work that hard. We still practiced and we still made plans, but I mean, I'm not going to downgrade it. We still worked at it. But I mean, we just have that experience. And like,
you just built different. You're just built different, bro. That's all it is. You just built different.
Just built different.
Hey, I didn't come out like this, okay? This is years of fucking work, dog. Like, come on.
It's like One Punch Man. He worked so hard his hair fell out.
My greatest experience would definitely have to be for the Challenger Cup in Snapshot. It came down to the final match, final straw. Both teams won one map, 4-4 in the final match. It goes down to me against T-Pon in a 1v1, and I managed to just catch a lucky break on the side and just nail him in the face. And that was the most insane, because I realized at that point, like, as soon as I saw it was a 1v1, I was like, it's all up to this. I either take our team and we get to be in the championship, or I get to sit there and be like, great, we didn't make our goal. And when I saw that paint just hit his head, I literally I dropped my knees. I was like, let's fucking go. I was so psyched, out of my mind.
That's an awesome feeling. I've been there in Onward too, and it's the smallest of the mistakes can give you out of the tournament or further.
And I'll be like, I was so incredibly proud of you guys this season too. Like, holy shit! Because just speaking from a captain standpoint, like that final round, Aztec got shot off break immediately, so we were already down 2-3.
Yeah.
I came up and took out AK and their other player, and then T-Pon immediately got me, and I was sitting there in the room waiting, just like, come on, and then all of a sudden T-Pon's tag drops off, and me and Aztec both just started flipping out. I was just so fucking incredibly proud of you guys, because like Merc 88s, we were in that game the underdogs. Like that T-Pon is a monster of a player.
He is.
So like we really came together. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can close here, but we have a topic in the chat, so let's go for it and end the stream.
All right, what's the last topic?
It's almost 1 a.m. here in Spain. So.
Oh yeah. Well, do you want to read the topic out? Nook.
You go.
It's on.
Your English is better than me.
Do you believe VRML should be more advertised, or should they wait for more VR players for the competitive scene?
I mean, they're doing well advertising themselves right now at the level that they're at. They've got a lot of good guys working for them to help out Brad Atkins, and so I think that at the level we're at, we actually have the perfect advertising marketing. I don't think that we should go beyond it until we do get, maybe not a bigger player base in the VRML, but at least start when VREsports start to catch more traction. because just throwing the league out there now and advertising it hardcore, people are going to come and look at it and they're like, yeah, but this VR, so like it's not that big deal. Who gives a shit right now?
The only thing I miss is some fancy trailers and with good production. Just recaps from the whole season, or some sort of media that can attract more players. But but they are doing a great job right now, and that kind of media costs money. So it's something they will need in the future, and I missed it right now, but they will get there someday.
It's baby steps, and they'll get there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and me and Shiva can both tell you, as league mods, like the amount of structure in the VRML is incredible. Like this will be the league that goes big for VR.
Yeah,
they've got an incredible administrative structure where, like, we got our league governors, league mods for each game, like stuff like that. And then you've got our casters, Brad Atkins, Elmo, Shiva, like
Nightfire, because he's gonna kill us if we don't mention him.
Yeah, Nightfire. I'm sorry, homie. I might be a little bit.
And we are missing a bunch of others.
There are so many amazing casters in the league.
There's so many casters.
Sir Dimwee.
But what I'm saying is you've got the structure the way it is. There's just no way that this league isn't going to take off. It's just not.
They are going to run by themselves or get acquired by another company to run tournaments. Totally.
Yeah. But part of the reason it is exploding so well right now, not only because of the administrative structure, but because of what Noman has done for casting. He's made it so easy for us. He set it up so that almost anybody could do it. That's how easy he's done everything, and how he set it up and programmed all this stuff that he has. So, just with the team that they have, I'm shocked at the level of competence that they've got. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, they are going to be the one that takes off.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like all of us are in it because we believe the VRML is going to make it to the next level. Like,
there's not other thing like this.
Yeah, I mean, other than the ESL,
and even if something starts now, it's not getting to this level.
Right.
It would take a long time for them to match the VRML right now.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody stands a chance at matching the VRML.
Alrighty,
unless they're in established position already, but
I think let's end it off there. That was a good, nice hour and a half of first podcast. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Awesome pilot episode. We had a good viewership throughout the entire thing. Chat interaction was amazing. Loved all the topics you guys brought up. Same time next week.
Yes, we will be here same time next week.
Same time next week. Thursday, 2:15 PST, 5:50 or 2 PST, 5 EST. What is that? 4
22 UTC.
22
UTC. Yeah, 22 UTC. I don't know. I try to convert everything. I try to make everyone happy with their time zones. But yeah, enough here. Thanks everyone for watching. See y'all later.